All right. I am about to finally tell this story about how I got a tummy tuck for free. So, and when I say for free, it wasn't no sugar daddy, it wasn't no GoFundMe, it wasn't no scam, it wasn't nothing like that. It actually ended up being like a medical study. Um, but the main reason I was able to get it was because I looked into it. I set an intention a long time ago to just like look to see how much would it possibly cost. I didn't have any intention on actually getting one, but I looked into it. I literally Googled it a few years ago, and the rest is history. So stay tuned, and I'm going to give you all the details because it's something that I am so thankful that I did. All right, so let's start with why I even wanted one. First of all, why does anybody want a tummy tuck? Let's start there. But no, for me, I have two children, okay? And I'm pretty thin by nature. But when I had my first kid 10 years ago, I gained a good 50, 55 pounds. Like, okay, whatever. But my child ended up being special needs, and she could not swallow on her own. Fast forward, she has a trach. She has a GJ tube. Like, she literally could not swallow. So while I was pregnant with her, she was not swallowing any of the fluid in my belly. So I had all this amniotic fluid. So that's called polyhydramnios, something like that. Anyway, I collected so much fluid, it looked like I was pregnant with triplets at 6 months. So I was huge. And at the end of the video, I'll probably show some pictures, but I went into preterm labor 3 times before it was even time. And when I went into preterm labor, I was like 6, 7 months pregnant, and they had to drain the fluid from my belly. So, yeah, so I was huge. Now, side note, I'm 5'10", and at the time I was 145 pounds. But when I was pregnant, I gained 55. Yeah, so I was pushing 200 at the time. Mind you, I'm 5'10", so All right, so my belly was huge, and so when I had my baby, she was only 5 pounds, but I had stretched so much. And once I had her, I went back to my regular eating habits, and I don't be starving myself. Okay, I do not starve myself at all. So I was eating back to my normal habits. I finally actually had some weight to lose. I'm like, okay, let me start working out. And I ended up losing like 30 pounds in like 3 weeks. So some say that probably wasn't the healthiest thing to do. Well, but what else am I going to do? Like, it is what it is. Okay. Anyway, so because I lost weight so fast, all that skin, I guess it didn't have a chance to like catch up. And so even though I went back to a flat belly, there was so much loose skin afterwards. And, it didn't feel that great. And like the people who know, they know. Like, you can be thin and people will say, oh, you're so skinny, or oh, you're so thin. But ultimately, like, yeah, that's fine. But I don't want all this skin. I mean, if you know, whatever. It's my body, and this is how I feel about it. Anyway, so I had my baby, had the skin there, and then I tried to and I started working out. Like, I was already kind of an athlete, so working out wasn't a big deal. But no matter how many ab workouts, I had a 4-pack, close to a 6, it did not get rid of the loose skin. And that's just something you can't really. I even started like body contouring. Okay. And if you know about body contouring, you know, like you have the cavitation, which gets rid of the fat, and then you have the red light laser therapy, you know. No, none of that was helping my loose skin. And again, I'm going to show pictures at the very end. So, yeah, none of that was working. But I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, I look great in clothes. That's fine. I mean, I still look good in clothes. But I wanted to look good with no clothes on. And I'm sure I look good to somebody with no clothes on. But no, I wanted to look good to myself. It is what it is, you know. So, moving on. All right, so 4 years later, I got pregnant again. My baby. I gained about 40, 50 pounds. I think I started off at like 160. And then by the time I went up in there and it was time, yeah, I was like 205. So, yeah. Now, that pregnancy wasn't as bad. This baby was, you know, no complications or whatever. But I still had that loose skin afterwards, man. And so, you know, people are going to say like, oh, you know, just work out and, but girl, boo, you can, girl, guy, whatever. Cause you know, a lot of times it'd be the dudes that say this. It is what it is. But you cannot work your way into like no loose skin. That's just, I mean, maybe, no, it wasn't working. Okay. Moving on. So I am the type of person who usually like every year, like, you know, people do New Year's resolutions. Well, I do intentions. Like I'll write a whole bunch of intentions that I want done for the next year. And so for this particular year, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, and so can I put them in categories? So in one of the categories was health and fitness. I was already in shape. Okay. I was already looking good. And I'm like, well, what do I want to do? What do I want to strive for this year? And if I could change anything about my body, what would it be? And honestly, like my body was already, you know, I was happy with it. But it was that one thing that was always getting me like, man, I do wish that my skin was tighter, like in my belly area. There's literally nothing. I've tried everything, it feels like. So I wrote down on my intentions, look into tummy tuck. And I know, because my perception of a tummy tuck, people get the fat taken out. They get liposuction and all that stuff, right? And I'm like, man, I don't need no fat taken out. I'm good. I just need all these wrinkles to go away. So fast forward, I want to say it had to be like in May, because I did my intentions in December, because I do it right before New Year. So in May, I'm going over my intentions list. I go over my intentions list like every quarter, and then I'll make a weekly intentions list and monthly, and that's a whole nother thing. But anyway, so in May, yeah, it was in May. Okay. So in May, I'm looking at my intentions list, and I did a whole lot of stuff already. And I'm looking at that tummy tuck thing, and I'm like, it probably costs a whole lot of money. I'm not even, but you know what? Whatever. I'll look into it. So I decided to just like Google it. I'm like, fine. You know, just to cross it off my list of looking into it, I'll cross it off my list. So I go on Google, and I was like, tummy tuck near me. And so I found, and At the time, I was living in Wichita, Kansas. And so I found a doctor. It said, in business since 1995, been performing surgery since this time and all this. And I'm like, oh, okay, that must be a trustworthy person, source, business, office, whatever. So I'm like, all right. And I'm big on like setting timers for doing certain things that I don't really want to do. So I said, okay, I'm gonna set a timer for like 10 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and call the number on here. Cause me looking into it is like, okay, I'll just, I'll see how much it costs. That's me looking into it. Cause I'm not about to, it just didn't feel, I couldn't picture myself paying for a surgery, even though if I wanted it bad enough, I know I could. But I don't know. Anyway, so I called the number on there, and I was met with a very friendly voice. Like, hi, this is so and so, how may I help you? And I was like, awkward. I was like, hi, I was just calling to see about a tummy tuck surgery. This is my first time. I'm sorry. I've never called about this before, but how much does that cost? And she said, oh, are you calling about the study? And I was like, what study? No, no, ma'am. She said, okay. Well, you know what, hon? Give me your information. What's your name? Okay, so I want to get you in for a free consultation, and then we can explain more when you get here. So I gave her all my information, right? And once I gave her all my information, we got off the phone. And I'm like, interesting. Whatever. Fast forward about, it was probably like, it was less than a week later. So I walk in the office, about 10 minutes away from where I lived. I walk in the office and she's like, oh, you must be Asia. We spoke on the phone. I'm like, oh, yes, nice to meet you. Very friendly face and match a friendly voice. And she said, yeah, so we're going to tell you all about the study. The doctor's here and he'll meet you in the back, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So I walk, once my name was called, and it was only like two people. Actually, it wasn't even two people up in there. It was like one person, other person, because this doctor does all types of stuff. So when my name is called, I go back into the office. Older dude. You could tell he'd been doing it since 1995. Anyway, so he's like, hi, it's nice to meet you. So, did you hear about the study? I was like, I heard about it on the phone briefly, but not really. And he was like, okay, so this is what we're doing. There is an opioid crisis going on right now. And right now there's this drug that we're testing, and it's in phase 2 or 3 of FDA approval. So right now we're doing the surgery on, right now we're doing testing for this drug on 2 different surgeries. One is the adenoplasty. It's the surgery that gets your bunions removed. They're testing it, at the time they were testing it on that surgery. And then the other surgery was tummy tucks without the liposuction. So only the skin tightening part. Only. And he said, yeah, so we're doing that only, and only if people qualify. And looking at you, no offense or anything, because I was fully clothed or whatever. He was like, I think you would qualify. You need to have like a certain level of fat. Like you shouldn't have too much fat, because we're literally only cutting the skin away. We're doing the skin part, not the fat removal, not the liposuction. So those are the only candidates who will qualify for this surgery. And the only difference between, I guess the differences between this surgery, regular surgery, and this study is that for regular surgery, you would have to you would leave. It's a same day procedure. You get your pain meds, you walk out the same day. For this surgery, you would need to stay a couple days for observation. And it's a double blind study. So while you're getting the surgery and during your recovery, you will be given the test medication. Sometimes you might get a placebo. Sometimes you might get Tylenol. It really it depends, but we don't know. Would you be interested? And I'm like, hell yeah, I'd be interested. Hell, I done dealt with some pain before. Like, if I can get my tummy tuck for free, and they said, of course, the tummy tuck is free. And you stay in the hospital for a couple days, observation, you get the food, blah, blah, blah. But it's free. So he said, take some time to think about it. And I was like, okay. I already thought about it. Like, of course, this is perfect, So that happened around May. And then in August, I chose to get to schedule the surgery closer to my birthday, and I was turning 34. I was turning 33 or 34. I mean, losing track of my age. Anyway, I got it around my birthday. Like, I got it the day before my birthday. So, all right, so we're going to get to my surgery day. All right, so I scheduled the surgery right a day before my birthday. So I'm like, okay, this can be like a birthday gift to me. Woo. So I check in, they prep me, and, I go under. And so when I wake up, and then I'll have some videos too, I don't know if I want to include it in this video or not, but you definitely gonna see some before and afters. But when I woke up from the surgery, my stomach was flat. But my stomach was already pretty much flat. And then it took about a couple days, and then my belly got really swollen. And it's supposed to, because that's when all the swelling, all the blood, all of that. And then I had drains coming out each side of my belly. And because it was a study, I had to stay in there 2 days. So, I would say the toughest part about it was the fact that because it was a double-blind study and it's all in the name of research, I didn't know the pain meds that they were giving me like every 4 to 6 hours. I didn't know if it was Advil, Tylenol, the new FDA drug, or whatever. But my pain level was between a 3 and an 8. So there was never a point in time where I was completely pain-free. And they let me know, like, hey, tell us if you're like in a whole lot of pain. But if you're not, because we're still testing the effectiveness of the drug, like, in so many words, they were saying, hey, don't just ask for pain meds. We're doing this for a reason. I'm like, okay. So I would never let my pain get too much before I would ask for something. But ultimately, I don't regret the decision whatsoever. Like, I am so thankful that I looked into it, and yeah. Okay, so the recovery at home. So when I got this surgery, I went home. My friend came to visit just to make sure I was good. But and they tell you, like, you're probably going to be a little hunched over because of all the stitches. And when it comes to your belly, like, they want you to, okay, I don't know how to really say this. Because there was stitches, like, you're going to want to lean forward. You're going to want to hunch over naturally to, like, protect your incision. And so I couldn't really stand straight for the first 2 weeks. And so I had to move slowly, but ultimately it was worth it. Like, I was able to get over that 2, 3 weeks of just kind of leaning forward, just, being very intentional about how I was moving my body. I couldn't work out for 6 weeks. That's the part that irked me the most. And there were drains coming from each side of my belly, so I had to change my drain dressings. So that was a little tedious, but other than that, I mean, I was perfectly fine with that. That's a very small price to pay for getting my life back, you know. So, anyway, it took about 6 weeks for me to for all the swelling to finally go down. And I was so very thankful for the results. I ended up, he made me a new belly button because he kind of had to, right? I honestly don't want to explain that, but he made me a new belly button. We'll just say that, because he ended up pulling the skin down. He pulled away, he tugged at my skin, but he pulled the skin all the way down to make everything right and tight, because I had all this extra loose skin. And so if he wouldn't have gave me a new belly button, my belly button would have been super low. But yeah, anyway, he made me a new belly button. And so I had my belly pierced already. And so when he made me a new belly button, I still had my piercing, right? So my old belly piercing, and I'll show you a picture. And actually, because I have this camera sitting up, but I'm going to show you my body now. But I ended up getting my new belly button pierced. So now I have 2 belly rings. I think it looks cool. Who cares? Whatever. It is what it is. I ain't never seen nobody with 2 belly button piercings, but I'm sure there's somebody who has it. Anyway. Yeah. So, I don't know if I should show you the results now or if I should just give you the message. I think I'm just going to go ahead and show you the results. I will show you the before pictures, but here are the afters. I know. So this is how I look now. And those are my 2 belly buttons. Now, this is 2 years later. Has it been 2 years? It's been maybe 2-3 years, but get a close up here. Okay. So, and I'll show before pictures and all that. But what I really want to tell you is if you're thinking about getting a tummy tuck, just look into it, Just look into it. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, especially if your problem was my problem, because I would work out and I'm still thin or whatever, but that extra skin, don't let anybody tell you, oh, you're already skinny. Oh, you're already, you already look good, blah, blah, blah. No. 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 Get the surgery, or at least look into it. Look into it, please. Because nobody gets to wake up as you, but you. So, yeah, all that, oh, your natural body, love what God gave you. That's funny. Now, I'm very much so religious. not religious. I'm very much so spiritual. My thing is, y'all don't say that when it comes to glasses. A lot of us was born with less than perfect vision. But do you say, oh, love the vision God gave you, you don't need glasses? No, you don't say that. Do this for yourself. Who cares? Who cares what anybody else thinks? And looking good is important to yourself. It don't matter if nobody else is going to see it. You're going to see it. That's enough. Who cares? Who cares if your man loves your body the way you do? Who cares if you look good and no, if you are not satisfied with how you're looking, you can change it. Because when you look good to yourself, because that's all that matters in the end, when you look good to yourself, you feel better. And when you feel better, you perform better. You show up in this world better. You show up for yourself better. And you're inspiration to the people who are watching you. So please, please take this as a sign. It took me forever to post this video. It took me forever to even make this video. But I'm getting this off my chest. It is one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I wasn't even like overweight before. No, I was already thin. And so many people were telling me, oh, you don't need to, what you need to tell me. Oh, no. No regrets. Do what's best for you. Your body, your mind, your soul will thank you for it. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope this video was able to help somebody. But I'm telling you, go ahead and do it. Because literally, like, your blessing could be just one Google search away. And that's the power of just looking into it. So please, please look into it. Do it for yourself. Thank you. Thanks for watching.